Hey everybody, it's Susie. Welcome back to my craft room. I'd like to say hi to all my subscribers. I have some new ones. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're glad to have you. All my subscribers have been hanging around. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. First of all, I want to apologize for not uploading a video yesterday. Sunday was a very, very rough day for me, and yesterday was as well. As the ones of y'all have been around a while know, I broke my hip socket a few weeks ago, and my hip was just giving me a fit, and I think I sat too long Sunday morning, trying to paint my little edges and stuff, and I think I just kind of overdid that and didn't get up and go lay down or adjust, and I think that's what got it all stirred up. And of course, when you sit funky and walk funky, it makes your back kind of hurt. So anyway, moving on. We're not going to even talk about that anymore, but I do want to apologize for not being here yesterday as planned. But I'm here this morning. I do feel a little better. Still not great, but I'm feeling better. Okay, so I wanted to take a look at the pieces that I've done. Now these were the pieces, ephemera pieces from the kit, and it looks like I messed up on this one. I did. Look what I did, y'all. I glued my flaps on the outside instead of on the inside. But you know what? Once I cover that up, nobody will know it but you and me. Okay, so these are the little envelopes that I did, and I just put paper clips on them for closures. I think on some of them I'm going to make, a little tuck-in closure. So these are the different envelopes that I have. I thought they turned out beautifully. I did edge around, both sides with the silver paint. And then on the inside, they all have the lining. And so I think they turned out absolutely gorgeous. I'm really, really happy with them. Y'all let me know in the comment section what you think. Okay, here's some journaling cards. I did the same thing on every one. I just inked around the edges. I mean, not inked. I put paint all around the edges. I did not do it on the back. I just didn't think it was necessary. If you're doing the same thing, then you absolutely can if you want to. But these are like the rectangular ones, and I just think they turned out gorgeous. As you're going through, check to, if you sew, check to see if you have any little strings that need to come off. If you need to adjust, your paint a little bit. This is the belly band. Of course, I put the silver paint around it. I think it turned out absolutely spectacular. And these are the rectangular journaling card. Oh, here's another little envelope. And here's the rectangular cards that have the rounded off corners. I think they also turned out beautifully. I did put the silver paint around the edges. So I think it just really, really, really looks great. Okay, these are the little tags that I have. It seemed like I had more, but if I do, they're hiding over here in this pile somewhere. And I think they turned out really pretty. And then I have these, and I have not put, now there are some that I still need to cover the backs on. I did not sew around these because it's just too hard to, there they are. It's just too hard to, around the sewing machine with those little bitty things. So, I am going to take at least these smaller ones and put glossy accents or clear fingernail polish on these for the dangles. I may use these for tuck spots, or I may end up using them for dangles. I'm not sure yet. But go ahead and prep your pieces, have them ready to go. Whether you're using this kit or something else, your own papers, whatever, get all your pieces prepped up. Okay, now, I did show y'all that I had all my pages sewn. I've gone back through and trimmed off my strings, and I'm sure I missed one or two here and there, but I trimmed off all my strings, and I did not want to edge my pages with the silver paint. I wanted the ephemera to kind of be more standoutish on the page than just the edges. You see what I'm saying? So, I think that makes a statement. So I like that, and so I thought, what am I going to do with the edges? Well, I ended up finding my silver ink pad. And this is like, the Studio G is like one of the cheaper brands. But it works, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to try that. Well, I punched out my holes in all my pages, and on my very first try, I made my template and I messed up because what I did when I put this on and I cut my first hole, this moved over and I didn't recognize it, and so it got real close to the edge. I'll show you on that page in just a second. So I tried to fix it a little bit and repunched. Well, then the hole was too close to this edge, and I knew, you know, that it would more likely tear out easier, you know, if it didn't have a little more room. So I went back and, you know, made another template. Well, this is my third template, and so I finally got it right. I went ahead and did all my holes. So on the page, well, let me tell you what I did next. So then I took this ink and I decided I was going to run it around the edges of my pages, and I turned my pages over just like this, and it's going to be real hard for you to see on camera, but there is silver ink all around the edges of these pages. Now what you'll notice is this was the one that I originally cut, and you can see where I cut it and then tried to fix it and then made another template, and I finally got it right. Well, my hole reinforcers are kind of mixed in action right now, or I would have covered those up already. If for some reason I can't find them, then I already have, you know, those other pages that I had already cut out, and I will just replace that page. Okay, as you're doing this, and right now I think I have the pages in the order that I'm going to want them in the journal. But as you're going through them and you're inking around your edges, check to see. Remember, this one is the one that I had the sewing machine issues on. Well, I should probably mark that, but when I get to it, I'll know and I'll fix it. There's some little strings here. I'm not real worried about those. If they were really long, I would be. But as you go through, look at all your stitching. Make sure everything looks good. Make sure your holes are good. You know, and just ink around them. Now, I found that when I came up with the system of, and I'm predominantly right-handed, but I'm ambidextrous, so I can use my left hand. But what I found was if I started at the left corner every time on the on one of the short sides of the left corner and worked all the way around and then turned it over and did that, I never got confused about where I was or if I did the fronts and backs, because, you know, it's kind of hard to see on some of these whether you did them, and then you spend a lot of time trying to figure out whether you actually inked it or not. But it's just enough hint of silver shiny without being too much, and so I really liked it. But as I went through, I looked to see, you know, that everything was kind of looking okay, and, you know, for the most part, everything was pretty good. And so I'm thinking, you know, wow, my pages are looking good. You know, I didn't really have a lot of boo-boos or anything that, you know, was going to really need to be covered up. No tears or, you know, holes or, you know, any unnecessary holes except that one back page. You know, and I was thinking, well, you know, everything's going pretty good. And then as I'm going along, I noticed that I did not stitch here. On every other page so far, I have, you know, done this stitch, and then I stitched along what would have been like this, you know, the part that we glued down, that extra piece, I stitched along here on all of them, so I need to go back and fix that. So I did notice that, and there's a couple of them like that. So just keep in mind to, you know, constantly be, you know, checking your pieces as you go, because once you start embellishing them, it gets really hard to get them in the sewing machine. This is another one that I didn't stitch. So I want to go back and fix that one as well. But, you know, it will, you know, be like a 2-minute job, right? I mean, it's not that difficult. So everything looked really good, other than those couple of pages that I need to go back and sew. I love the way the ink looks around the edges. Now, I did not do this one because I was going to show you what I was talking about. I always started at the top left, you know, on one of the short ends. And I knew it wasn't the short end with the holes. And I just went around the edges with my ink pad. Now, if you have a real juicy ink pad, you'll have to be really careful that you don't end up with blobs of ink. And this is the first time I've ever used silver to do this, and I'm really pleased with these results. And this ink pad's pretty old, so I did have to rehydrate it a little bit, which worked out fine. And actually, I've rehydrated it a couple of times while I was working with it, you know, because it was kind of dry. But there's plenty of ink in an ink pad, and all you have to do is rehydrate them. Now, depending on whether it's a water-based ink, now see, I made it all the way back around to here, and I was talking, so I didn't pay attention, so I went around again. But now, I'm going to turn it over, and again, I'm going to start on the top left corner, this side where the holes are, because, you know, we flipped it over, and I'm going to go around. but depending on whether you are using a alcohol or a water-based ink pad is what you'll use. And you can just get your little spray bottle and, you know, put water in one and alcohol in one. Just make sure you label them, you know, if you're using both kind of inks. So anyway, this happens to be a water-based ink, and so I was able to rehydrate it with water, and I'll show you how I accomplish that in case you come up on a dry ink pad. So that's all. That's, you know, how easy this is. It does take some time, but, you know, I am so loving this, and I think it's way worth it. So, okay. So that's all my pages there. So now I am ready to put these in the rings, other than, you know, fixing that last page and sewing those. But just to show you, I'm going to open my little rings up, and I'm going to start with my back page. And, you know, you might want to go through your pages one more time and just make sure they're in the order that you want them. And that everything is facing in the direction that you want it to be. You know, that's kind of important if you've got, you know, text or flowers or people or whatever, that they're facing up instead of facing down. Okay. So once you get that first one in, the second one, you know, it really lines your pages up good for you. And that's why it's really important to make a template and use your template on every page. Don't cut a page and then use a page to cut a page, because sometimes they're a little bit off and it'll throw you off, and then you'll end up with your holes too close to the edge or too far in. You know, they'll be kind of cattywampus. Oops, I missed. Oh, this is the page that, see, it already tore. So I do need to reinforce that or just make a new page. But I knew that was going to be an issue with that. So anyway, that's what it'll look like. I could use a smaller ring, but when I start embellishing this, it's going to get fuller. So we'll see. If I need a smaller ring, I can use a smaller ring. But this is just going to be absolutely a wonderful, wonderful journal. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. The silver rings with the, you know, the silver here and with the silver embellishments. So my next step is going to be to go through and put my embellishments where I think I want them. So I know I have, how many envelopes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and I have 60 pages front and back, or 30. Actually, there's 60 pages when you count front and back, or there's 30. So I know that 30 divided by, say, 6 is 5. So about every 5th page, I'm going to put an envelope. You know, not necessarily, you know, every 5th page, but I want to make sure that I space them out. And of course, I want to go ahead and match up some journaling cards to put in my little envelopes, or in my big envelopes, little envelopes. And if I don't have the cards necessarily that I want to go in them, like, you know, I might think, well, that's too small, and I might want a different type of journaling card, I can make one and put it in there. So, you know, whatever you desire to do, you know, just do it. So I will probably match up ones for here. I'm going to make some mini journaling cards or tickets to go in here. Those would fit in there just fine. And, you know, I could put like 2 in each one. And then, you know, I could use even these to make envelope closures. Wouldn't that be cute? I think that would be really cute. Oop! I forgot the paper clip was on there. Wouldn't that be really cute to, you know, like glue down, you know, down on the bottom part, and then just use it to open up and close? This one's pretty thick. Okay. Yep, isn't that nice? So, you know, I may do that with these. So there's, you know, plenty of ideas of what we can do. So I'm going to go ahead and put my journaling cards in the envelopes I want to. I will probably mark the, and now I'm not going to glue these in place. I'm just going to put them where I think I want them to go. I may want to make some pockets. Like I said, I do have the extra pages that I've printed out. I do want to make some extra pockets to put like these journaling cards in. I may make some tuck spots, you know, maybe some corner tuck spots. G did a video I don't know if it was today's or yesterday's because I was behind, but I did watch it this morning as I was getting my coffee ready. And she made some really pretty paper clip corner pieces that you can put on the corner and say then tuck your journaling card in. And so I really like the idea of that, and so I'm probably going to make a few of those. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to see where I'm going to put these. I want to see how many more pockets that I want. And then another thing I want to decide is what to do with these white pages. I like the white because there's so much white in here. However, I'm thinking I might take either some inks, you know, some light colored inks like this, or the greens, or the pinks on for this one, and there's some peaches on another one, and you know, maybe kind of lightly, you know, color some of my pages. And let me kind of show you what I mean. I don't have any other inks right here. Well, I can kind of show you with this one. This one doesn't show up very good because it's silver, so I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see this. All right, here's one of the, you know, distress inks, but you can use any ink, okay? And you just kind of want to ink your page a little bit here. And these are waters, and distress ink, believe it or not, is made to be used with water. And you can kind of move your inks around. And of course, I wouldn't want those harsher lines in there, so I would, you know, make sure that I, you know, kind of had a smooth. And that ink pad was not very juicy. But see, you can move those colors around with some water. Now, if you do that to color your pages, you want to take your heat tool or your blow dryer and dry it, not just from the front, but from the back too, because it'll keep it from warping so much. And you don't want to do it so heavy that it will go through and affect this. Now, I know this is double thick, but you know, just don't want to soak it too much. But, you know, you can color your pages, and I wish y'all could see that silver because it does look pretty. But go ahead and, you know, if you use your colors, and of course I would not use something this dark for this journal, but, you know, maybe some of these lighter greens or something, just to kind of give the pages some color. I might play around with that a little bit today and see how I like it. Of course, I'm not going to be able to sit for long. Like I said, I'm still, you know, having some issues, but I'm going to do what I can. I really want to get this finished up. We haven't even talked about our cover yet, really, but we will be making our covers. Start thinking about what you want to cover your cover with. Now, of course, I'm going to be using chipboard as my front and back covers. Now, do you want to cover that chipboard with paper, with fabric? Do you want to use paper on the inside of it? Do you want to use fabric on the outside? You know, decide. Start thinking about what you want to use. Go ahead and pull in any, you know, lace, cheesecloth, you know, this stuff, buttons, any kind of embellishments, extra pockets, extra flowers, you know, extra birds, butterfly, whatever it is that you want to use. Go ahead and pull some of that stuff in so that we'll be ready to go tomorrow when we start decorating. I do hope to have everything together to go ahead and start the decoration. And then I'm going to make some dangles. I talked to a friend of mine a few days ago, and she wants to see some things done with beads. Well, I had already, you know, planned to do some dangles. So I'm going to be anxious to do those with y'all, show you some different things that you can do. And, you know, we will hang those off of here, and I think y'all will really, really like it. I'm also going to put some lace on some of my edges, and then I'm going to hang some of my dangly bits off of the edges. Now, what you can use, if you don't happen to have a bead stash, then what you can do is, if you have any old earrings, any old necklaces, anything that you can take apart, that works perfect. As a matter of fact, some of the dangly earrings are great, because then you don't have to worry about stringing anything or messing with jump rings or all that, other than to, you know, put them on your piece. But those work great. You know, if you try to use a stud earring per se, they need to be flat or flattish, because once you start putting them on page, unless you're going to use it on the front, and once you start putting them on pages, you know, then it really, really bulkens up, you know, your journal. So, you know, keep that in mind. But anything that you can use for a dangly is perfect. So keep that in mind, but you know, that'll be a couple of days down the road. But I'm really, really excited. I think this is looking so, so good. I'm really, really happy with it. You may want to make some, oh my goodness. Let me see. Ruffles. You may want to make some ruffles, either paper ruffles or fabric ruffles, you know, whatever you prefer, you know, to put, you know, maybe on the piece of your page, you know, just to, let's kind of hide that a little bit. Let's say if we put a little fabric ruffle here, you know, maybe a little piece of this like this, and then, you know, something like that. You know, wouldn't that be cute? Of course, I don't know that I want to cover that ruffle up that much because I want to be able to see it. But wouldn't that be cute? Or you can have a ruffle that runs all the way down, you know, or all the way across, however you want to do it. You know, and it's okay if your ruffles stick over a little bit because, you know, it gives a little bit of character. Also, if you want to make some tabs, you know, to go on the side or the tops of your journal, you know, go ahead and incorporate some tags in there. Whatever it is that, you know, you think you would want to have in this, go ahead and grab it. If y'all would like to see, you know, how you can make whale tails without a whale tail punch, I can, you know, try to show you how to do that. It's pretty easy to do. And then you don't have to buy those expensive whale tail punches. So if you're interested in that, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll show you how to do those. So, if you have any questions or any comments or any suggestions, I'm all ears. I would like to hear anything that you have to add. If you think that I should do something, if you would like to see me try something, whatever, please leave it in the comments section below. You know, I am kind of sticking with this theme because I'm still honoring Gi Kerr, of course. But, you know, I don't mind adding things as long as it's not from, you know, somebody else's kits. I'm only using her kits or some fussy cuts that, you know, say I got out of a magazine or, you know, a book or whatever. You know, and I can actually incorporate some book page in here, you know, some book page pockets, which would look nice. You know, as long as they're the right color. You know, if I can find one with a nice font. But yeah, I mean, there's lots and lots of things that we can do here. So, any suggestions you have, I would love to hear them. Okay, y'all, I'm going to call it a day. Blessings and hugs to everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please give me a like down below. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And if you're a subscriber, please hit that bell and go to the one that's filled in. That'll be the top bell. And that'll notify you every time I upload a video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all. Blessings and hugs to everybody. Y'all have a great day. Bye.